Hi, Sarah.
Morning. Hello, everyone. Afternoon.
Yes. So let's see if Achan is here. Are you there, Achan?
Yes, I'm here. สวัสดีค่ะ everyone.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadika, Ajahn. Hello, hi.
สวัสดีครับอาจารย์สวัสดีครับฮัลโหลฮะ
Okay, so you're ready? Mình sẵn sàng rồi đúng không ạ? Hiện giờ có cô Trúc Thanh có câu hỏi. Xin mời cô ạ. Sister Trúc Thanh has a question. Cô cứ nói. Cô nói như vừa nãy con nói.
Dạ, con xin chào Sarah, Achan và ông John và Sarah ạ. Con xin có câu hỏi nhưng mà con nhờ chị Tâm Bạch chuyển giúp chứ.
Vâng, câu hỏi của cô Trúc Thanh con xin dịch sang tiếng Việt cho tất cả mọi người. Câu đầu tiên con muốn hỏi đó là chúng ta vẫn được nghe về 4 dự lưu phần. Trong đó có 2 cái đầu tiên đó là thân cận bậc thiện chí và gọi là lắng nghe chánh pháp. Thì nếu như thông thường chúng ta cứ nghe những cái câu nó đã quen thuộc rồi thì đôi khi chúng ta cũng không thực sự hiểu về nó, mà phải là cái người có thể chia sẻ, phân tích để nó vào đúng những cái điểm mà ta vẫn chưa hiểu, thì lúc đó con thấy nó mới thực sự hữu ích, nó mới thực sự làm duyên cho cái hiểu. Thì con cũng muốn ông bà nói, Achan và ông bà nói rõ hơn về điều này cho con. Như vậy có đúng không ạ? So we have a question from Sister Trúc Thanh. And she said that we know that among the 4 factors of enlightenment, so there are 4, and the 2 first is association with the wise, and the second one is hearing or listening to the right teaching. And sometimes when we hear the same sentences, for example, all Dhamma are anatta, but that cannot make our understanding arise. So if we have a wise friends who really analyze and speaks about things that can help us to understand what has not been understood before, then the real understanding can arise. So I would like to listen more on these points, the importance of having someone to help us in detail to show our misunderstanding and where we are stuck.
Hello, and let me start with a few points. And so, as you say, there has to be association with the wise, but we have to consider what is meant. For example, we can read the suttas and think that there is association with the Buddha's teaching, or we can listen to the wise person and think that there is association, but there may be just clinging and ignorance. So it doesn't just depend on opening the sutta or meeting a wise teacher. It depends on the very careful listening and consideration. It's quite easy to go to a center, to join a soon, to read a sutta. without any understanding or with strong clinging to the idea that I can do something. Yes. So the point is that there must be the very careful considering, the questioning, the wise reflection about what is read or said. Otherwise, we just continue with our own ideas, interpreting what we read in our own way, not really understanding the subtlety of the Buddha's teachings. And it's also why we have to listen again and again and again, consider again and again. When it says listening, this may be like now, listening, or it may be reading, or it may be by turning on a recording. And it may be just a little that is heard that is very wisely considered and understood, or a lot may be heard and listened to, but very little understanding. So what the most important point is the very careful considering and reflecting on the deep meaning, and especially the deep meaning that what is being discussed is about Dhamma. Like we all know there is seeing now, we all know there is hearing now, but how quickly there is an idea of I am seeing, I am hearing, or how quickly there is an idea of trying to understand seeing, trying to be aware of hearing. So one word, seeing, what is the reality now? What is the subtle Dharma? Is it understood as anatta? This is the main point, but I'm sure Ajahn will add more.
Is there enough confidence of the word of truth of the Buddha about what is there right now? Otherwise, if there's this moment, how can there be any other moment appearing? That's why be truthful to each word, because it's so true. What Buddha taught is about that which is there, right there, to be understood gradually until it let go ignorant and clinging to it as something. Because just for the word Dhamma, what is it? It's not the story of a pen or a grass at all, but it's the nature of that which is there just in a moment. For example, be truthful to the truth. What is there at moment of seeing? See, if there's not enough understanding, how can there be moment of letting go, moment of seeing that it seems like someone is seen or something is seen all the time? Is that true? Begin to be truthful to the teachings about the truth of what is there. Gradually, little by little, before there can be the development of understanding of the truth. For example, Buddha taught about seeing for sure, because there is seeing right now. What is it? See, we think about how can I understand it? How can I? And what is the understanding? How come? The understanding of what is there right now. If there's no hearing, considering enough to let go, the idea of something, someone, seen just right now. That's why understanding how long will it take to let go of the clinging to that as something unknowingly at all. For example, what is seen, but what is that which at moment of seeing, thinking that it's still there as something, and there is attachment by condition, unknowingly, that it's there, something there. So listen to the truth of what is there as just a reality. Seeing cannot be liking, it cannot be hearing, but it is a moment of seeing. Is there enough understanding of a moment of seeing that it is there by conditions. It's not anyone at all. Or it's the I am seeing right now. Even we don't say anything out. But it's there, seeing there. Who I see, still there. Otherwise, what sees if it's not I? So what see, not I, see, begin to consider the truth of what is there taught by the Buddha, to begin to have confidence of that which is Dhamma, a reality. All Dhammas are anatta, only that. No matter hearing again about this and that, it's Dhamma, which is anatta. The more understanding of the truth, the more letting go of something and someone. Is that true? So we can talk about the truth from the very beginning, not to forget what is true is there now, right now, is so true. But it's not as we used to take it. I see, even right now. So what is right is right. Otherwise, how can there be the understanding of the truth when it's not anyone, but there's still the idea I am seeing? What's right and what's wrong? What is the ultimate truth of moment of seeing? Only one moment of seeing. And in a day, how many moments? Uncountable, unknown, uncountable moments. Like that is seeing just only one moment, not as we take it for one moment. It's shorter than what we can expect. Because now it seems that one moment I see many things, but how can it be in a moment, everything? It has to be only one reality, which is there. Only have the understanding, that's all. Gradually, a little more about what is there, because what is there is so true. What can be known is that which is so true, not the other moments. That's why while we are talking right now, what is there is true. Can anyone understand it, realize it instantly, that it's gone, unknowingly all the time? So very shortly, as soon as it has arisen, it's gone. That's right. It cannot be known because it's so very rapidly from moment to moment, split seconds moment. Is it true or not true? That's all. If it's true, there can be a little more understanding about each reality, even just in a moment. Seeing a reality, and what is seen in a moment. Can there be seeing without that which is seen? If anyone would like to experience it very shortly, very soon, the moment arises and falls away instantly, on and on and on, non-stop, from birth up to now. And that ended just now, on and on and on and on, non-stop. Is that true? Just learn to understand the truth, the ultimate truth. What is seeing, if it's not anything or anyone? at all? What is it?
Thank you for those words, Ajahn. And could I just add a couple of short comments, please? As the questioner has said, when we hear some part of the teaching, such as Sabbe Dhamma Anatta, it may or may not have a particular meaning for us. And unless there has been the understanding of what conditioned dhammas are as object of understanding, that sentence will be meaningless. And also there needs, of course, to be the understanding of what is meant by the characteristic of anatta before that sentence can have any meaning. And it is only by having association with the good friend that a sentence such as that can have meaning of the kind that will be a condition for the arising of awareness and understanding at some point. So this is the importance of the association with the wise friend. That is to say, the opportunity to hear the Dhamma explained in a way that is appropriate for our level of understanding and our particular accumulations, including wrong view, because everyone is different and different people need to hear the Dhamma explained in different ways. And what is helpful for one person may not be helpful for another. And if we appreciate the significance of this, then we appreciate the value of the opportunity when it arises to, for example, attend a Dhamma discussion or to have a discussion with our friends, because our friends can also be the wise friend from time to time. It doesn't have to be always be someone whose understanding is so much greater than our own, although of course it's helpful if that is the case. But sharing among ourselves can also be helpful in that aspect, in that respect. So we don't need to think that we should be finding the wise person, the one person who is going to explain everything to us. That is not what the Buddha had in mind. It is the association with different people, but the common factor would be that they share an interest in understanding the true meaning of what the Buddha said. And this also emphasizes, these two factors emphasize or highlight the fact that it's not following a practice that is going to be the condition for the arising of understanding, but it is hearing the Dhamma explained in a way that will condition further reflection at the time and afterwards. And that reflection can then be a condition for awareness and understanding, the fourth factor of the the fourth of the four factors. To sum up, it's not the association with the wise friend is not something we can make happen. It happens only by conditions, but let us be aware that it can happen at any time. And when it happens, we can appreciate the opportunity that has arisen, and it will be a condition for useful reflection. Thank you.
In the deepest sense, who is the wise? Who is the very wise one? Of course, it is the Buddha. And when is there association with the Buddha, with the very wise? Only now, when there is right understanding of the truth. So, as everyone has emphasized, it's not a matter of looking or trying or waiting until one meets a particular person. It's not a matter of doing or trying anything, but understanding what appears right now at the moment of right understanding. There's confidence that this is the true association with the wise, not I specially listening, or I specially going somewhere, or I specially finding a person. But what about the understanding now, seeing now, hearing now, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling now? At the moments of understanding, it is the association of the wise. And that may be while eating breakfast, it might be when going out for a walk, it may be when with family members, but it always has to be at this very moment. Not putting off, waiting for another time when the environment is quieter, or we've opened the text, or we're in the Zoom discussion. It's now, whatever, whenever. Does the sister have any more questions on this point?
Dạ. Dạ thưa, con đã rõ rồi, nhưng mà con muốn làm rõ hơn cái ý mà có phải là những cái thứ mà mình không được hiểu á, thì nó có phải là nguyên nhân để dẫn tới những cái việc là kiến hiểu sai đó chị?
Yes, that is clear, but she would like to ask a further question. So when we have wrong understanding that have not been clarified, does that condition more wrong understanding?
Just as the right understanding now accumulates and conditions more right understanding, the right understanding now couldn't arise if there hadn't been right understanding in the past. So each moment of right understanding is like adding a grain to water. It accumulates. And in just the same way, the wrong understanding accumulates. So wrong understanding is very dangerous, because whenever wrong understanding arises, it conditions a little more wrong understanding. The tendency becomes a little greater at each moment of wrong understanding. But even when it arises, like moments now of trying to be aware, trying to listen clearly, wishing to associate with the wise one, even at these moments of akusala, moments of wrong understanding, it can be known when it arises. It's a Dhamma. It's not my wrong understanding or my right understanding. They are just different Dhammas that arise by conditions and fall away, gone completely. So the understanding again has to be now to understand the nature of the wrong understanding when it's there. Not just by thinking about a situation when there might have been wrong understanding in the past, but when it appears here and now, it's the time for understanding. Is there any wrong understanding now?
Bây giờ ta khiến về cái gì? Bây giờ mà ta kiến về cái gì chị? Yeah.
Of course, wrong understanding is an unwholesome mental factor, one of many unwholesome mental factors that have been accumulated. And it will continue to manifest, arise from time to time by conditions, unless and until it has been eradicated at stream entry. So it should be appreciated that, of course, there is accumulated wrong view. And if there is any practice that is based on that wrong view, then it will be wrong practice. But since we understand practice to mean just the actual arising of right understanding, awareness and understanding, we do not contemplate having to undertake a practice in order to develop right understanding. I think the point is this, that all the kusala mental factors that have been accumulated will arise from time to time. But the antidote to those agusala mental factors, the factor that will overcome them in the long run, is just the development of awareness and understanding of what is appearing at the present moment. And in that respect, it's not necessary to be overly concerned about the unwholesome mental factors that arise from time to time. But as understanding is developed, they will become more apparent and may even become the object of awareness and understanding. But it doesn't really matter whether the object of awareness and understanding at this stage is the agusala mental factors or is something else like visible object, because all understanding that is developed leads to the eventual eradication of agusala, because it sees the nature, the true nature of every conditioned reality as being anicca, dukkha, and anatta. And this is the understanding that leads to the cessation of dukkha in the long run. So it's not necessary to think of targeting different kinds of agusala in order for them to be identified and reduced in some way. That is not the teaching of the Buddha as I understand it. It's just, what is important is just the development of awareness and understanding of any conditioned reality. Thank you.
Dạ. Thì cảm ơn ông bà John và Sarah. Thì qua những lời giải thích của ông bà thì con hiểu là mọi thứ nó nếu mà dùng một cái gì đó để thực hành để phát triển trí tuệ thì đó là một cái tà kiến, cái hiểu sai, thì mọi thứ nó chỉ do duyên sinh thôi.
Yes, thank you. According to my understanding of what you have said, any attempt to do a particular thing, whether a practice or something, actually is a wrong understanding because everything is conditioned.
Yes, it's actually wrong practice. If it's an attempt, it's wrong practice. If it's just the idea that that is the path, then it's wrong view. But as soon as there is the acting upon the wrong view, then it's wrong practice.
Có ai muốn hỏi điều gì liên quan đến chủ đề này không ạ?
Cho chị xin hỏi Tâm.
Dạ em mời chị.
Dạ thưa Achan, thưa ông bà John Sarah, con thấy mặc dù là chúng ta đang nghe Achan giảng thì chúng ta biết là cái con đường ở đây không phải là một cái phương pháp để mà làm cái gì hết, và chúng ta chỉ cần nghe giáo pháp thôi. Nhưng con thấy là vẫn rất là dễ bị hiểu sai. Nếu như chúng ta nghĩ là càng nghe nhiều giáo pháp thì chúng ta sẽ có nhiều trí tuệ và đó là cái con đường, thì con thấy cái điều đó ngay đó đã bị sai rồi, có phải không ạ?
Yes, I think that when we listen to the Dhamma like this, the wrong understanding can easily arise. For example, even though we understand that there's no method to or any practice to develop understanding, you might think that listening a lot will develop the understanding, but even that can be a kind of wrong understanding, isn't it?
Yes, because there may be the idea that listening means how many hours I listen in a discussion like this, but that is not the true listening. The listening that the Buddha taught is the understanding and considering of what is heard right now for a moment, not I going somewhere, I doing something. So it always has to be back to this moment. And we can see how quickly and easily wrong understanding slips in. Is it, am I holding the microphone? Am I sitting on a chair? Am I listening to Sarah or Tom? So quickly there can be wrong moments of wrong understanding, quite unknown. So this is why we have to come back to discuss what is Dhamma now, what is touch now, what is heard now, what sees now. Because without understanding different Dhammas, different Nama Dhammas, different Rupa Dhammas now, there is no way to gradually let go to the clinging with wrong understanding, taking what is seen, heard, touched, and so on for something, someone there. So the wise listening always has to be at this moment with wise understanding, right understanding. So the more hearing, the more careful considering, the more subtle the path is. Not as we used to think, just going and joining the discussion, reading the texts, following the right path. Not at all. It has to come back to the right understanding of what appears now as Dhamma, as Anatta.
Thank you, Sarah.
Maybe Ajahn would like to add more as well.
So, what is now known and what is now not known? That's why we can talk about it, to have more understanding, because just hearing about all realities are nama, they are so real, but that's not enough at all. It's just the idea, very wide idea about everything, but no understanding of each reality right now to know that it's Dhamma and all of them are Dhamma, no matter what appears, can be known as not anyone at all. That's why it depends on what is known and what is not known yet. So what shall we talk about? That which is known more, a little more, or that which is not known at all? Because just the word all are Dhammas. What about understanding of seeing now, hearing now, thinking now, touching now? See, all of them, they are not known as they are yet, but we have just the idea all Dhammas are anatta, and that's not enough at all, because it's just thinking. It's not direct understanding of the nature of each different reality. For example, talking about the reality which now experiences the object, if it's not very particular what is there, a reality which experiences the object, there can never be keen and clear and sharp understanding of any moment of any reality which is there, because it's just included everything. But what is that? That is not Dhamma. For example, what is seen now, in order to understand, it's a Dhamma. What does it mean? It's real, but it does not appear as it is. That's why, how can it appear just not by thinking about it, but to have a little more understanding of the truth of the nature of it that can be thought about and can be object of considering in order to get closer to the truth of it. It's not just say all are Dhammas, no self, no I, no anything. That's not enough. But be truthful to what is there. It's something, or it's just a reality. Even it's a reality, is it that which experiences the object, or is it that which is experienced? If it's not known directly enough from moment to moment, how can it let go? The idea of it's a tree, or it's the shoes, or it's what and what now as it is, one by one. But in truth, one is just a reality which is there together until they are known as something when they are together. But when it's just one reality, it cannot be anything like we take it for a shoe or a table at all. Is that true? Even the body right now. What is the body? Is the eye the body? Is the ear the body? So what is the body in truth? That's why just hear it again and again, closer and closer, not to forget to attain by conditions. When it's there, little by little, by conditions, more difficult is not by anyone, as no one has to be firmer and firmer and firmer. Otherwise, it's just a word, not me, but I am trying so hard to understand it. See, the subtle reality is that attachment and ignorance is there, unknown. What is meant by ignorance? No understanding of that which appears as it is, no matter it the taste or the smell or anything. What is it? How can it be known? How can it appear and then gone? As soon as it's not there, it's gone. But no thought about it, it's not there anymore. Just keep on thinking about it as something all the time. Is that true? That's why it's so very, very subtle, complex of what is there together from eons and eons on and on and on until the idea of something is so very, very deep. At any moment, even it appears as it is, no understanding of the nature of it, but takes it instantly as something. Thunder, see, only the sound, but no understanding of the nature of that, which is heard. Not anything at all, only the sound which is heard. But the idea of the sound of thunder, see, is there instantly. And it keeps there to take it for that sound as something all the time when there is no a little more understanding of the nature of it, that it's their experience and then gone. It's their experience, whatever now appears, and then gone. Listen again. It's a moment of getting closer to the truth. So very, very little in a moment, just in a moment. So how long will it take to have firm confidence of what is heard? When it's just some moments, it cannot appear as it is at all. And there's no one at all to try, how can I do? Please help me how to realize the truth and so on. That's not the understanding. That is attachment. That's the cause for all wrong deeds and speech. Can anyone do? If it's possible to do, everyone will not have a kusala. But it's not as it is, as we think that it can be done. It cannot be done because what is there now is already conditioned. See, all the time conditioned. Forget about the truth that it's just a reality. Without that which is the chief of experiencing, unknown all the time, each moment, there cannot be anything appearing. So all depends on that which arises and experience what is there, taken for something instantly with ignorance and attachment, because no understanding that is conditioned to arise and then fall away. But the truth can be known gradually, to be firm and firm, to let go, clinging to that object, so that object can appear a little more better, clearer. So very, very, very slight. So very, very quick and then gone. See, is that not the way it is? That's why before enlightenment, how long did Buddha to be develop the parami to understand what is there now as he taught? Because of his enlightenment, what is there is conditions. It's there and then gone. So clear, Panya begins to understand the truth until the truth appears well. by then less and less attachment to the idea of self or something as before, so natural, because what is there is conditioned already. Does anyone would like to do anything to realize it? That's not the way. To realize what is gone. That's why it has to begin from hearing about just one reality which appears little by little. In a day, only 6 doorways. The truth is there right now. Anytime, no one, only a reality conditioned to be there and then gone. Otherwise, how can there be moments from birth on to death? Each moment is gone, unknown, from moment to moment, until it's known gradually, different moments, different reality, experiences different objects. So the teachings of the Buddha about the truth of any time can be talked about, to consider, to have firm confidence. And firm confidence is panya, so true to the truth. It's the only way to understand the truth of what Buddha taught. And consider whether it's true or not just believe. Enough courage, so very little, or it's so true, little by little. Impossible to think that it can be known quickly, but it can be considered and understand the nature of that little by little. And the proof is that right now, how much firm confidence of what is there now appearing. That is the truth. For right understanding to know that if there is no precise or direct of what is there as it is, little by little, it's impossible to understand the nature of what is there. That's why we learn about this moment, to understand any moment ahead in the future when it's there. Seeing today, tomorrow, next year, next life. If there is the understanding of seeing right now, there can be the understanding of moment when it's there in the future, no matter where and when and what.
Thank you, Achan. Con hiểu hơn một chút rồi ạ. Con có thể hiểu là cái sai thì có thể là rất là nhiều, tà kiến, tham ái cũng rất là nhiều. Nhưng cho dù nó là gì đi nữa, dù cho nó là tà kiến hay tham ái thì tất cả cũng chỉ là pháp thôi ạ.
Thank you, Achan. My understanding is that although wrong understanding or lobha, attachment, there are a lot of them, but they are also Dhamma. Thank you, Achan and John and Sarah. The sister also has a second question, but before she raised her question, I would like to ask a technical question. I don't know whether Sarah read in my email, I mentioned about the Nibbana and Anibbana Rupa. And actually it came from the question from Kun Sun Lan some time ago already, when she brought up the topic of clear rupas. And then I was searching, and actually it was referring to the Nibbana Rupa. And Nibbana Rupas in the book that I read are described as the concretely produced rupa, consisting of 18 rupas. And they are also described as sabhava rupa. And also another word for it is the samasana rupas, rupas that can be object of awareness and understanding. And the same book that we read also said that the other 10 rupas that are the Anibbana rupas, they consist of the 4 Lakkhana rupas, the 2 Vinyati rupas, and the 3 Vikara rupas. So they are not real rupas, and they are not concretely produced. But that was quite confusing, because the 2 Vinyati rupas, we know that they are produced by chittas. Although they don't have a characteristic, they're not sabhava rupa, they don't have a characteristic to be known, but they are produced by chittas. And so I think that is a very technical point that we're not sure what information is right and what is wrong. So I would like to just raise that topic so I could hear more comments from Achan and from you. Thank you.
As you say, 18.
Tại vì cái chủ đề này đã nói rồi, cho nên là tức là về cái chủ đề về những cái sắc mà không được tạo ra một cách cụ thể, lần trước trong buổi pháp đàm đã nói đó. Thì bây giờ vì trình bày lại thì nó rất là dài, nên mình để cho các ông các bà nói, vì đa phần là mọi người đã tham dự cái buổi pháp đàm đó rồi.
Yes, before when there was a discussion here about clear rupas, and I think Sun Lan said, oh, she was referring to the Nibbana rupas, and there were 8, but as you mentioned, there are 18 Nibbana rupas. Clear is not a good description, but they are, as you said, the sabhava rupas. They're rupas that have their particular characteristic which can appear. Hardness is a sabhava rupa, a Nibbana rupa. At the moment of touching, it is hard. The characteristic of hardness can be known by little or great understanding. But the 10 rupas, which are the Nibbana rupas, are asabhava. They don't have characteristics that can appear. The kaya and vachi vinyati, the bodily and verbal intimation rupas that are conditioned by citta and arise with a group of rupas at moments of bodily movement, when there is the intention to convey a movement, convey a meaning through bodily movement or speech. We can think about people waving their arms or speaking, but the characteristic of kaya vinyati or vachi vinyati never appears, and it arises just for one moment and falls away, unlike other rupas which last for 17 moments. But the kaya and vachi vinyati, conditioned by citta, arise with a group of rupas but fall away instantly. So the anibbana rupas, the rupas without sabhava, they are like modes of rupas or changes in rupas, but still they are they are rupas, still they are conditioned. For example, the akasa rupa, space rupa, it is asabhava rupa. The characteristic doesn't appear, but at moments of rupas conditioned by temperature, for example, the akasa rupa, the paricheda akasa rupa, must be there, dividing, separating the groups of rupas. So it depends on the rupas that are conditioned by temperature for its arising. So these are very subtle rupas, not readily apparent, but we cannot say they are not conditioned, but it's like they are conditioned because of the groups that they arise with, like the 4 lakkhana rupas are the 4 stages of rupa. Without rupa, there cannot be the arising, the continuity, the falling, and the death of rupa. So they are like modes of rupas. So different from the nibbana rupas. And it's now different groups of rupas arising and falling away, however they are classified. Perhaps Ajahn can add a little more to your point.
What about hardness? It's so hard, so very solid. But can it move? If it has hardness, just only hard, very solid, can it move? Or when it's not, that is so hard as usual, because there is the rupa, which is conditioned to change the way it is so hard to be able to move. And who knows that it's just the quality of the rupa when that is to get arise together. Usually when it's there, not move at all, it's hard. But if it's not the other way, not as so hard because of the rupa, another quality arises by citta or by uttu, it can move, right? Can the chair move? No citta. But anyone who walks, see, hardness is there. But without that other rupa, which is risen by citta, to make it, the rupa change from the way it is so very, very hard to be able to move. No matter what we call it, vikara rupa or what word about it, it's there. Buddha enlightened the truth. There must be another rupa, which change or the mode of hardness to be able to do, to walk, to whatever, to dance or whatever is there. See, can the table dance? No vikara rupa.
So they actually are concretely produced rupas. They arise from a cause and not, we cannot say that they arise from a cause, right?
So what condition it to be atarupa that changed the way it is so hard to be able to do something, move, dance, or talk, speak? Without citta, can there be any talking, the movement of the body, of the lip, the tongue, so on? So
It is conditioned. It is a rupa that is conditioned, but it is a rupa that is the mode or the aspect or the quality of the rupa which it arises with, which makes it possible for the rupas at that moment to move or speak.
And what
5
about
vikara rupas, not 3, the 5, including kaya and vachi vinyati, and then the lahuta, moduta, kamanyata, the lightness of the rupa, the malleability, the wieldiness of the rupas. They're all vikara rupas. They're all rupas which change or alter the nature of the rupas they arise with. But they have to be conditioned.
I remember a long time ago, Ajahn mentioned about the outer space is like unconditioned.
Right. So the akasa that arises, that separates the groups of rupas, the paricheda akasa rupa, it is conditioned, but it's conditioned as a result of the groups of rupas arising, which it separates. If there were no groups of rupas arising to be separated, conditioned by temperature, for example, then no paricheda akasa rupa to separate them. So again, it's like a mode of those rupas which it depends on to arise, different from the akasa rupa and outer space that doesn't divide groups of rupas, doesn't depend on the arising of the groups of rupas. It's unconditioned.
And what about the 4 Lakkhana rupas? They are like different stages of rupas. They themselves are not separate rupas, right?
They're just classified as rupas, but actually they refer to the modes or the stages of rupas. So they cannot be separated from the rupas which they refer to, the arising, the continuity, the falling away, and the death of rupa, the last instant. So they referred to the moments of rupas, because each rupa lasts for 17 moments. So there are different stages of the rupas. So each of those stages is conditioned. Without the arising, there couldn't be the continuity. Without the continuity, there couldn't be the falling away. Without the falling away, there couldn't be the last moment of the rupa. So this is why they are anipana rupas, not nipana rupas.
So when they are modes of rupas, okay, they are Paramattha Dhamma or not Paramattha Dhamma?
All conditioned realities are Paramattha Dhammas. So they are like the kaya and vachi vinyati and the other vikara rupas and the paricheda akasa rupa. They are all Paramattha Dhammas, but there are those Paramattha Dhammas which are sabhava or nibbana, and those which are asabhava, anipana, which are the aspects, the modes of the other rupas that they are referring to. But if we keep trying to find the grey line, then fine line, then it's leading away from the understanding of what appears now.
Just on your last question, Thamba, I think it may be found stated that they are not considered among the Paramatta Dhammas, but it doesn't really matter because this is a technical point rather than any difference in basic understanding. So whether they are included when one talks about Paramatta Dhammas, it will depend on the context. It's not a hard and fast rule. It doesn't affect their nature in any way, because they are among the 28 rupas, and we just Paramatta Dhammas are Citta Cetasika Rupa Nibbana. So there's it's just a difference in convention that would include them or not. It's Paramatta Dhammas. Thanks.
Thank you. Maybe Ajahn will say a little bit more.
Can there be the movement of the body without the intention to move? And at the moment while one stretches out one's hand, what appears? Hardness or what? Or is there already? And how come to be there? That's why who knows about the Vikara Rupa? It's there by what? When heat is so very, very strong, that which seems like it cannot be melted, it's melted, right? By conditions. That's why without citta, how can the rupa be vikara? See? Be able to move, to stretch, to walk, to sing. But it's not known until right understanding develops so much depending on different one's accumulation. Sariputta, what about his understanding? Even Vittaka and Vichara is known. And can anyone know now? And who knows what will be depending on conditions. That's why there must be Vikara Rupa, but it depends on who knows that. But since it's there, it's real, but it's not separated from the hardness and Mahabhuta Rupa. But what condition it to be able to move? See? There can be the understanding that there must be condition for that which can move, be able to move. Without that Rupa, which is there, condition the quality of that Mahabhuta Rupa to be able to move or to do or whatever as we are now doing. But can it be known? Just stretch your hand out. What is known? The Mahabhuta Rupa or the Vikara Rupa? It's out there already. See, what does not appear, can it be known? So what Buddha taught, is it not known by the Buddha? And to those who had developed great understanding, different degrees, to be different forms in different ways. That's why learn to understand what makes that which is so hard, be able to move. Even heat can change what is there, which is hard to be softer, right? By conditions. And citta, see, and other reality, cetasikas, condition the movement of the body If there's no intention to say anything or to speak, how can there be words? And how come the words without movement of the lips, the tongue, and so on? That's why there must be Vikara Rupa and Vinyati Rupa, Kaya Vinyati or Vachi Vinyati, depending on Chitta. See, can that which has the Chitta move, just move now around? Impossible. That's why learn to understand the subtle reality which is not known, that is different by conditions. Every movement must be by Chitta. Can the dead body move? Can there be Vikara Rupa for those without Chitta? The formless spoon, no Chitta, can it move?
Ajahn, when talking about movement, is it a rupa that moves or is it the Vayodhatu?
Without, there is always Vayodhatu, right? The four primary rupas, Mahabhuta Rupa, include the Vayodhatu. Does it move? The chair, Mahabhuta Rupa, Vayodhatu is there as well.
Thank you, Ajahn. Very helpful.
Con xin hỏi thêm một chi tiết, tức là chúng con đọc ở trong sách thì nói rằng là 10 cái sắc không có đặc tính này thì không phải là đối tượng của Vipassana. Thì con xin được nghe Ajahn và ông bà giảng thêm một chút về điểm này ạ. We read in the book and we got the information that these 10 asabhava rupa are not the objects of vipassana jnana. So is this right? We don't understand about that. So please Ajahn and Punchon Saras help me about that.
Yes, because just like now, what can be the object of right understanding? It has to be the reality which has a characteristic which can appear. Hardness can be known now. Sound can be known now. But the Kaya Vinyati or Vachi Vinyati cannot be known because it doesn't have a characteristic that can appear. And when the understanding develops, when there are moments of direct understanding of what appears now, the object is the same. It still has to be the object that appears. And at moments of insight, the same has to be the sabhava dhammas that appear. Now, Ajahn mentioned for the Buddha's great wisdom and a few others with great wisdom, there could be insight because of particular skills and levels of wisdom to any reality in daily life. So sabhava, asabhava, whatever is there. But when we speak about the development of insight, it has to be the understanding of realities with characteristics that appear one at a time.
Even hardness in the body is different, is that right? For example, the flesh and the bone, see? Can the bone move? We use the word bone, but what is there which has special quality arising by Chitta or by Uttu? It's different. Very stiff hand, is the Vikararupa there to be able to move? When it's so cold, very stiff hand, see, by conditions. And when it's different, what makes it different? Depending on conditions, it can be by temperature or by citta. Who knows? But anything which is real can be object of understanding. That's why no selection at all. It depends on the accumulation and the ability to be able to rise such very, very subtle reality when it's different. We don't have to say it has the Kaya Lahuta or whatever, but it's different from hardness, which is the bone and the flesh. The understanding of what condition it to be different is known by the Buddha. That's why without condition, can it be able to move without the Vikara Rupa? Make it possible, able to move. And someone has a very, very good quality to do with the hands in this way or that way, while the other cannot at all. The Arabic, see, can anyone be as skillful as the skillful one?
So the main point is that whatever hardness it is experienced, whether it's the hardness conditioned by citta or by karma or by utu, whether it is a hardness which is where has changed because of the vikara rupas, it's still just hardness, different hardnesses at each moment that are touched. It's still the characteristic of hardness that is experienced. But there can be more and more understanding of why each hardness is different.
Thank you, Ajahn and Chansara.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, sister has another question. Con mời cô ạ. Cô cứ hỏi đi ạ.
Dạ, thưa Ajahn, là nói là thật sự cuộc sống là gì từ khoảnh khắc này sang khoảnh khắc khác, và mỗi khoảnh khắc đó thì có gì ở trong mỗi khoảnh khắc đó.
Dear Chan, you usually say that life it consists of each moment. Life is in each moment. So could you please explain to us about life in each moment? What are there in each moment of life?
Chitta, Chittasika, is it clear? Without that which arises and experiences the object, is it life?
Dạ không.
Not.
So life is that which experiences the object.
I think what Ajahn is saying is that life is just a way of referring to any kind of experiencing.
Dạ thì khi con câu hỏi đặt ra thì bà lại nói là chỉ có tâm và tâm sở ở đó, thì tự nhiên con mới hiểu là mọi thứ đều chỉ là tâm và tâm sở nó kinh nghiệm, ngoài ra không có gì cả. Thì những câu này mình cũng đã từng nghe, nhưng mà lại là nghe được một lần nữa thì nó lại hiểu, để hiểu có một mức độ tinh hơn ở trong từng khoảnh khắc nó có gì trong đó ạ.
So when I heard what you say that there are chitta and cetasika, it becomes clearer to me that apart from the chitta and cetasikas, there's no one. Although I have heard this many times before, but listening to that and again today, it suddenly became clearer, keener.
So this is life now, without the citta now, no life at all. So life is just for a moment, seeing now, and then it falls away, end of that life. Thinking arises, new life. Thinking falls away, end of life. So this is what is meant by momentary birth and death. We think of birth when a baby is born, or death when someone passes away conventionally, but actually birth and death at each moment. And as we just discussed, each rupa has stages, each citta has stages, arising, being present, falling away. So there is life from moment to moment, one citta after another, each citta accompanied by many cetasikas, arise, exist, fall away, gone forever, never to return. And I think this is the joy of studying the Buddha's teachings, appreciating that even the citta a moment ago, even the wrong view or doubt a moment ago, gone completely, not there at all. So life begins again and again. And this is why understanding has to begin again and again, because citta is just for a moment, gone forever.
Someone was wondering why, when Ajahn mentioned citta and cetasika, she didn't mention rupa as well, because we know that citta and cetasika require rupa to arise. But the point is that there can be rupa without citta and cetasika. And citta and cetasika are what distinguishes the log of wood, for example, or the dead body from the body of the living being. And that's why when we talk about life, we mention citta and cetasika.
Can you speak a little bit about life at this moment, Ajahn?
Seeing, hearing, thinking, from birth to death, on and on and on, from life to life. And the body is different from the reality, which is not there with Chitta and Cetasika, because Chitta, Cetasika condition Rupa too. That's why the Kamma Rupa, the Rupa which is conditioned by Kamma, has the Jivita Rupa, living Rupa. Is that true? The doors, the eyes, nose, no life. Because it's not conditioned by Kamma for that Rupa to be living Rupa, Jivitindriya. Makes it different.
Sắc mạng căn do nghiệp sinh. Tức là những con búp bê chẳng hạn thì nó không có những cái sắc mạng nhưng không có những cái sắc do nghiệp sinh, không có sắc mạng căn, trên nó khác với cả những cái sắc bình thường khác.
Cho chị hỏi, những cái sắc mà do tâm sinh, thường thì đời sống của một sắc pháp đó là nó 17 sát na, rồi những cái sắc do tâm sinh, thí dụ như sắc khẩu biểu tri, thân biểu tri á, thì cái tâm nó diệt là sắc nó diệt luôn, hay là nó là bao nhiêu sát na? Yeah. Mà ngay như những cái sắc, như những cái sắc nhẹ, 10 cái sắc mà không có đặc tính á, thì cái đời sống của sắc pháp đó nó là bao nhiêu sát na?
So Miss Mai has a question on the Chittacharupas, because earlier Sarah mentioned about the Kaya Vinyati and Kaya and Vachi Vinyati that are produced by Chittas, and their lifespan is very short. It's just one moment of Chitta. They don't last the entire 17 moments of Chittas like other Rupas. What about other, like the Lahuta Rupas, the 3 Vikara Rupas? Are they also produced by Chitta and last also very short, like the 2 Vinyati Rupas?
Can it be known? Okay, at moment when there is intention, which has the meaning for someone to know that moment of that particular Rupa is there. For example, usually we don't gaze at someone with some meaning, right? But if you have something to say but you cannot say, and you try to make that person know what is that your intention, it can be by the way you look or by the way you just do something, like the gesture of the body. See, doesn't it have any meaning? Or it has some meaning? Nodding. See, yes. Or someone may take it for different understanding. It doesn't matter. It depends on the group, whether it's this kind of people or that kind of people, different ways to understand the way the body is there with intention. When you just get up and stand and What do you put your foot so very strong? See, what does it mean? Is there no meaning at all? It's not the natural way. It has some meaning by that person to make it known for someone, to be able to understand the intention of that person. Because no way, if you are tied up, see, and you try to make someone know that you are tied up, please help me and so on, is there no meaning at all? Just look at someone with different kinds of feeling, anger, or what? Affectionate, or what? And sometimes when someone doesn't like that person very much, but he does not show at all. But when nobody look, the eye looking at that person has a meaning of hatred and so on. See, is it Vachi Vinyati or Kaya Vinyati, depending on whether it's words or deeds or the way it looks. When you don't talk, but you want someone to understand by the gesture, just put one finger up, what does it mean? And what about two? And what about three? Depending on the signal known by friends or those who understand it. Ready to fight, no word, but and can be by gesture. Ready to shoot, ready to run. See, only the signal. Without citta, can there be such what is seen to be understood, the meaning of that which is seen? What will you do when you want someone to stop or someone to go on? Without word or with word. So the word is Vachi Vinyati and the gesture is Kaya Vinyati. When citta does have such meaning, it's so natural as usual. So Kaya Vinyati and Vachi Vinyati fall away when citta doesn't have such meaning anymore. Because it's not the rupa which has 17 moment of citta lifespan. And what is the point or the benefit of understanding this? To have a little more confidence of the truth. Actually, they are citta and cittasika and rupa, that's all. No one at all, no matter what it is. Can it be considered to know the difference, the way rupa looks, with meaning or without meaning at all? Is it time now?
Thank you อาจารย์
ค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดี
สวั
ค่ะ
สดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะท่านอาจารย์ค่ะ
Anumodana Achan Kunchona Sara.
Sawadee krap,
Sawadee
Ajahn. Thank you very much, Ajahn.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Sarah.
ครับ